Hello everyone. Welcome to Learner's Choice. You can learn everything here. We are starting HTML tutorials from scratch. We will cover all the HTML topics with examples and will give tasks as well. Let's start with HTML introduction. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is the standard language for creating web pages. It uses tags to define the structure and content of web pages, such as headings, paragraphs, links, images, and more. These tags tell the browser how to display the content. Let's see the example here. Here is the explanation about the example. Doctype HTML declares the document type is HTML5, which helps the browser understand the version of HTML. HTML tag is the root element that wraps all the content on the page. Head tag contains meta information about the HTML document, like its title. Title tag sets the title of the web page that appears in the browser's tab. Body tag holds all the visible content of the page. H1 is a heading tag. In this case, it displays the largest heading. P is a paragraph tag used to add blocks of text. Let's create a task based on the information. Create a simple HTML document that displays your name as a heading H1 and a short introduction about yourself as a paragraph P. Next topic is HTML elements and tags. What is HTML elements? HTML is made up of elements which are defined by tags. A tag generally consists of an opening tag and a closing tag, though some tags are self-closing. Elements can contain text, other elements, or attributes. Let's see the example here. Here is the example explanation. P is the opening tag for a paragraph. It's declared in less than P greater than. /P is the closing tag, indicating the end of the paragraph, declared in less than /P greater than. Text between the tags is the content of the paragraph. Let's create a task based on the information. Create a web page that has two paragraphs. One should describe your hobbies, and the other should describe your favorite food. HTML attributes. What is HTML attributes? HTML attributes provide additional information about elements. Attributes are always included in the opening tag and are written as name, value, pairs like name equals value. Let's see the example here. Here is the example explanation. A tag is an anchor tag used to create hyperlinks. The href attribute specifies the destination URL, and visit example, the clickable text for the link. Here is the task. Let's create a task based on the following information. Create a hyperlink to your favorite website using an anchor tag with an href attribute. HTML headings. What is HTML headings? Definition. HTML headings help to structure the content on a web page. There are 6 levels of headings, from H1 to H6. Let's see the example here. Let's see the example explanation. H1 is the main heading. It is largest than all the headings. H2 is a subheading. It is smaller than H1. H3 it is also a subheading, it is smaller than H2. H4 is a subheading, it is smaller than H3. H5 is a subheading, it is smaller than H4. H6 it is the smallest heading then compare to all. Let's create task based on the following information. Create a web page with a main heading H1, two subheadings H2, and a smaller heading H3 under each subheading. The next topic is HTML paragraphs. What is HTML paragraphs? Definition: the P element is used to define paragraphs of text. It is a block-level element that adds spacing automatically. Here an example to illustrate this. Here is an example explanation provided for clarity. P defines a paragraph block that has padding and line breaks around it. Let's design a task based on the provided information. Write an introduction with at least 3 paragraphs of text on a topic of your choice. Example: hobbies, goals. The next topic is HTML links. What is HTML links? The element creates hyperlinks to other web pages, sections within a page, or files. Here is the example. Let's find the example explanation clearly. The first link navigates to an external web page. The second link jumps to a specific section on the same page, using ID attributes. Create a web page with links to 3 of your favorite websites. Also, include a link that jumps to another part of the same page. HTML images. What is HTML images? The img tag is used to display images in a web page. It requires the src attribute to define the image source and the alt attribute for a text description. Here is the example. Example explanation. src defines the image URL or file path. Alt provides alternative text in case the image cannot be displayed, important for accessibility. Width defines the width of the image. Create a task. Add an image to your web page with proper alt text and resize it to fit the page layout. HTML lists. What is HTML list? HTML supports 2 types of lists: ordered lists for sequential items and unordered lists for non-sequential items. Let's see the example of ordered list and unordered list. Example explanation. Unordered list items will be marked with bullets, small black circles by default. Ordered list items will be marked with numbers by default. EAL represents an individual list item. Create a shopping list using an unordered list, and a step-by-step guide using an ordered list. HTML tables. What is HTML tables? Tables organize data into rows and columns using the table, tr, td and th elements. Let's see the example here. Detailed example explanation. Table tag defines the table. TR tag defines a row. TH tag defines a header cell. TD tag defines a standard cell for data. Create a table displaying 3 products with their prices and descriptions. HTML forms. What is HTML form? Forms are used to collect user input, consisting of text fields, checkboxes, radio buttons, etc. Here is the example. Example explanation. Form tag used to create the form. Action. It specifies where the form data is sent. Method, that is HTTP method, get or post. Label. It defines a label for an input field. Input. It represents a form input field. Create a simple form with fields for a user's name, email, and a submit button. HTML semantic elements. What is HTML semantic elements? Semantic HTML elements describe their meaning clearly to both the browser and the developer. Examples include header, footer, article, and section. Here is the example. Example explanation. Header tag is used for the header of the web page. Section tag is used to group content. Article tag is used to contain a standalone piece of content. Footer tag is used for the footer section. Create a task based on following information. Structure a web page using semantic tags. Include a header, a main section with an article, and a footer. HTML comments. What is HTML comments? Comments in HTML are not displayed on the page, but those are used in the code to leave notes or explanations. Here is the example. Example explanation. Comments are ignored by the browser and don't appear on the web page. They're useful for leaving notes for other developers or for yourself. Let's create a task based on the below information. Add comments to your previous code explaining each section of the page. HTML block versus inline elements. What is HTML block and inline elements? Block level elements take up the full width of their container, for example, paragraph and heading tags. Inline elements take up only as much space as necessary, for example, anchor and image tags. Here is the example. Example explanation. P tag is a block level element and takes up the full width. Span tag is an inline element and only takes up the space of the word. Create a web page with a block level element and an inline element. Add a paragraph with some text in bold using an inline tag. HTML entities. What is HTML entities? HTML entities are used to display reserved characters in HTML. For example, less than, greater than, and ampersand cannot be used directly in HTML, so they are replaced with entities like LT, GT, and AMP. Here is the example. Example explanation. LT is the HTML entity for the less than symbol. AMP is used to display the ampersand. Create a paragraph that displays the following characters correctly: less than, greater than, and ampersand. HTML iframes. What is HTML iframe? An iframe, inline frame, allows you to embed another HTML page within your web page. It is created using the iframe tag. Here is the example. Example explanation. The src attribute specifies the URL of the page to embed. The width and height attributes control the size of the iframe. Create a task like embed a web page from another site, like your favorite website, into your page using an iframe. HTML forms, advanced inputs. In addition to basic inputs like text, forms support more advanced input types such as email, number, date, radio, checkbox, etc. Here is the example. Example explanation. Type email ensures that the input is a valid email format. Type number accepts only numbers. Type date provides a date picker. Create a form with an email input, a number input for age, and a date input for the user's birth date. HTML media, audio and video. What is HTML media, audio and video tags? HTML5 allows you to easily embed audio and video on your web page using the audio and video tags. Here is the example for audio. This is the example for video. Here is the example explanation. The controls attribute adds playback controls like play, pause, and volume. Source specifies the file source and type. Create a task like add an audio file and a video file to your web page with proper playback controls. HTML forms, select an option elements. What is HTML forms select an option elements? The select element is used to create a drop-down list. Each option in the list is defined with an option tag. Here is the example. Here is the explanation. Select creates a drop-down menu. Option defines each option in the list. Create a form with a drop-down list that allows users to choose their favorite programming language, for example, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python. HTML form validation. What is HTML forms validation? HTML5 form elements provide built-in validation features. You can use attributes like required, min length, max length, and pattern to control the input. Here is the example. Required makes the field mandatory. Min length and max length limit the length of the input. Create a form that asks for a username, 4 to 8 characters, email, and password, minimum 6 characters, with validation. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe the channel.